Okay, today we are going to discuss about CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. Cascading Style Sheets. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. CSS is a style sheet language used for describing the look and formatting of a HTML document. Okay, which is written in HTML. So CSS is a style that defines layout of HTML documents. Okay, CSS style that defines layout of HTML documents. HTML documents. For example, using CSS, um, we can apply fonts, colors, okay, margins, lines, height, width, background effects, okay, and paddings. So many of the things we can apply the CSS property to the HTML elements. Okay, many other things we can do. So there are three ways to apply the CSS properties to the HTML elements. There are three ways to apply CSS to HTML elements. Okay, first one, external style sheet. Second one, internal styles. Internal style sheet. Third one, inline styles. Okay, these are the three ways to apply CSS properties to the HTML elements. So first of all, we have to know the syntax and how we can apply the CSS properties to the HTML elements. Okay, we have to know the syntax. Syntax. So CSS declaration always ends with a semicolon. Always ends with a semicolon. Semicolon. And declaration groups are surrounded by curly braces. And declaration groups are surrounded by curly braces. Curly braces. So we have to use style tag in HTML, the starting tag and ending tag. So we have to use this tag to apply the CSS properties. So between this tag, style tag, we can write CSS properties. Okay, compulsory we have to use this either in header section or body section. We can use this style tag in body section, in header section, both. In both areas we can use. So first of all, external style sheet. External style sheet. So external style sheet is ideal when the style is applied to many pages. Suppose if you want to change page background, okay, or if you want to change total website background, so just you can modify in .css file, so it will reflect to the entire application. Okay, suppose if you want to change the page background to the entire you want to change the website background, total website background. Okay, just you can modify in .css file, it will reflect to the entire application. Okay, you made the changes in one file, so it will reflect to the entire application. So that is .css file. Okay, css file extension is .css. Suppose if you wanted to change page or website background, okay, or font styles, just you can modify in .css file. It will reflect to the entire application. Okay. With the external style sheet, you can change the look of an entire website by changing in one file. So each page must link to the style sheet using the link tag. Each page must link to the style sheet using link tag in HTML. Okay, so compulsory we have to link to the each page to the style sheet using link tag. The link tag goes inside the header section. So syntax for this external style sheet: in our HTML form we have header section, so in the header section we can use link tag. Okay, so assume that already we implemented one .css file. Okay, already we have one .css file, mystyles.css. Okay, the name is mystyles.css. So to link up to the HTML form, okay, we have to use this link tag in href attribute. In the href attribute we have to given the path to the css file, .css file path, and type. So type is um, text css, and relation attribute, style sheet. Okay, so like this we have to link up HTML form and CSS file, so that we can use the CSS properties, okay, which is written in the CSS file. So we can use those classes in HTML form. So one example on this external file. So we have one application .css. Okay, so create one, there is no files. Okay, so new folder is created here for CSS. So this CSS folder is opened here. So create one HTML form. Okay, there is no files in this folder. External files, external CSS, external style sheet, example. Okay, so HTML default tags are created. So in this our body tag we can take one div tag. Okay, this div tag contains some information to display, so we can take this. Okay, this is the information we want to show in, in the browser using div tag. So we can use id with div1, so identification name for the div tag. So our html form is fine. So if you run this, so only html div tag is displaying. Okay, div tag content is displaying, so without any css. By using external file we can apply css properties like background color, okay, font style, okay, um, font size. So like this we can apply. So create one css file, the .css extension, mystyles.css. Okay, if you are using notepad, save that notepad with the .css extension. Okay, so anyway you have to save the file with the .css extension. So here we can write the css properties. Here I'm writing okay. uh, so here as div1, as div1 means in css we have three type of selectors. Okay, one is id selector, second one is class selector, third one is element selector. Okay, these are the three type of selectors is there. So using these three types of selectors we can apply css properties to the html elements. In this example I am using id selector. Okay, based on element id, okay, we can apply css properties to the html elements. Okay, here using the three selectors we can apply css properties to the html elements. In this example I am using id selector. Okay, based on element id, identification name, so we can apply css properties. So I will explain those selectors also. Okay, id selector, class selector and element selector. So here I am using id of the html element div tag. For id selectors we have to use as symbol and followed by id of the element. So background color for div tag, background color is, so always you have to use color codes only in real time. uh, in real time applications compulsory you have to use color codes. So don't use color names like red, yellow, blue. Okay, don't use color names, always use color codes only. Okay, to know the color codes, so in Visual Studio there is no problem to get the color codes, so this will appear here. And next one, text color is triple F is the white color, or you can use 6 Fs. um, div height 200 pixels and div width also 200 pixels. Next, padding. So I will explain this what is this padding. Okay, in next tomorrow's class. Padding is 20 pixel. Okay, so mystyles.cs file is implemented here. So we need to link up these two files, okay, HTML file and .css file. Use link tag and href attribute. Okay, here you can see here .css file, and type equal to text css and relation tag attribute style sheet. Okay, so now you can run this example, otherwise, so already example is running, so refresh this example. Okay, if you refresh this example, css styles is applied. Okay, background color is, okay, this is the background color. Okay, and the text color is white. Height, width and padding. Go to inspect and you can see the color css styles here. Okay, based on element id we applied css properties. Okay, some of css properties. This is the block of statements. Okay, background color, height, width, padding. Total these are all block of css properties. These block of css properties are surrounded by group of properties are surrounded by curly braces. Okay, open flower bracket and close it with the flower bracket. And css property declaration, okay, always end with a semicolon. Okay, each and every property always end with a semicolon. So this is the css external file. Suppose if you have another div tag, here we can use class. Okay, my div is the class name. So here we can implement one css class dot my div. Okay, for class selector we have to use dot and followed by class name. So we need to apply this class name in class attribute. Okay, for id selectors we have to use id of the element. For id selector we have to use hash symbol and followed by element id. For class selectors we have to implement the class with the prefix dot and followed by class name, and we have to apply this class name to the HTML elements using class attribute. So here also background property, background color, blue. Okay, so we can take this color code, and text color is triple F, and height 300 pixels, width 300 pixels. Next padding 20 pixels. So now refresh the example. So this is our sample example on class selector. Okay, so refresh this example again. You can see here div tag. Okay, this is second div tag. So these CSS properties are applied using class selector. Okay, so this is the class in CSS. Okay, this is id selector and this is class selector. So based on element selector, we can apply like this. For example, take one paragraph. This is sample paragraph. We're using element name. So directly we can use element name. So text color is red color, and font size. So I will tell you. Font size is 25 pixels. Okay, so that's it for text color and font size for the paragraph. So now run this example. You can see here paragraph text color is red color and font size is 20 pixels. Okay, so this is the element selector. Based on element name, you can apply CSS properties. So the main difference between ID selector and class selector. Class selector is faster than ID selector and it will improve the application performance. Okay, in real-time applications, always use class selector mostly use class selector. Okay, in rare situations, you can use ID selector. So that is the main difference between ID selector and class selector. But the um, functionality is same. Okay, both are used to apply the CSS properties, and the main difference between ID and class is it will improve the application performance. Class. So next, second one is internal styles. So internal style sheet should be used when a single document has a unique styles. When a single document has in a single document has unique styles needed, we can use this. You can use these styles. Internal style sheet needs to put in the head section of the HTML page. Internal styles needs to put in the head section of HTML page. Okay, HTML page by using style tag. For this, we have to use style tag. Okay, so we have to use style tag to write the CSS properties using internal styles in HTML form. Okay, we have to use style tag in both sections, header section and body section. We can write CSS properties using style tag. Syntax: in header section, use style tag. Okay, so between this tag, style tag, starting tag, ending tag, we have to write CSS properties like this: div1 and remaining, so like div2. So like this we can write the CSS properties in HTML document. No need to create .css file for internal style sheets. For only external styles, we have to create .css file. So that's why when a single document has a unique styles, need to uh, use style tag in HTML document. So for example, create an HTML form. Internal styles. Here also same, we can use this div. In header section, we can use style tag, use div1. Same styles we can use. Copy these properties and paste here. Okay, so based on id selector, we are applying CSS properties, but here CSS properties are written in .html file only. Okay, HTML document only. So there is no link between .css file and internal styles.html. So CSS properties are written in inside the header section of this same HTML document. So run this example. You can see the same styles applied using internal styles. Okay, assume that you have one application, so there is a number of pages inside that application. So one page needs different styles, so you can use internal styles. Okay, when a single document has unique styles, we can use internal styles. Okay, next one, inline styles. If only a small piece of code has to be styled, then inline style sheets can be used. If only a small piece of code has to be styled, then inline styles can be used. It can be used. To use inline styles, you use the style attribute in the relevant tag. To use inline styles, you use the style attribute in the relevant tag. Okay, relevant tag. The style attribute can contain any CSS property. Syntax: for example, we can take one paragraph. So this is a small piece of code. Okay, uh, needs different styles. Okay, for this paragraph only you can use style attribute in the relevant paragraph and write CSS properties like this. Okay, we can use this color code hash and font size 20 pixels. So like this we can write CSS properties using style attribute. Okay, paragraph. So this is the content in paragraph. Okay, color, text color is red color and font size is 20 pixel for this paragraph. Just copy this one and paste here. Refresh this example. You can see paragraph text font size is 20 pixel. Okay, and the color, text color is, so this is the color code for this text paragraph. So these are the three ways to apply CSS properties to the HTML elements. Okay, external style sheets, internal styles and inline styles. So as we discussed, so we have three type of selectors. Okay, ID selector, element selector and class selector. So already explained this selectors example. So we have three type of selectors: ID selector, and second one class selector, third one element selector. So ID selector means element selector. ID selector uses the ID attribute of HTML element. ID selector uses the ID of the ID attribute of an HTML element to select a specific element. Okay, ID selector uses the ID attribute of an HTML element to select a specific element. So ID selector style the element with the specified ID. Okay, already we discussed this ID selector. So based on the element ID, we can apply CSS properties. Okay, to if you are using ID selector, compulsory you have to mention the ID for the HTML element. So in .css file or in header section style tag also you can use as and followed by ID of the HTML element. Okay, to ID selectors we have to use as and followed by ID of the element. So this selector find out the HTML element in the document. Okay, this selector find out the HTML element with this ID and apply CSS properties. Okay, this selector find out the element with ID is equal to div1 and apply CSS properties. This is the ID selector. And class selector is also same. Find out the element with the class equal to same. So using class selector, we can apply CSS properties to the multiple elements. Okay, multiple elements. So for example, two or three div elements need same styles. Okay, you can use class selector and apply CSS properties to the three div elements. Okay, single class you can apply to the three div elements. Class selector selects elements with the specific class attribute. Okay, attribute. So for example, so we have another div tag. This is second div. Okay, this is first div and this is second div. So we can comment these to paragraph. And so in our HTML form we have two div elements, and these two div elements need same styles. Okay, so we can write class and with this multiple CSS properties, and we can apply this class to the multiple elements. Okay, like this we can apply multiple elements. So using class selector, say class selector is faster than ID selector, and we can apply class selector to the multiple elements. Okay, so we can comment this. So uncomment this. For example, we have another div tag here. This is ID and div2. Okay, by using ID selector we can apply for only single element. Okay, if you write the div1 class or div2 class in CSS file or in style tag, you can apply only for this div tag only. Okay, div2 you can apply to this div tag only. Okay, different elements needs different styles, you can use ID selector. Okay, different elements need same styles, you can use class selector. Different elements needs different styles, you can use ID selector. So these are the two main important differences between ID selector and class selector. Next, class element selector selects elements based on the element name. Element selector selects elements based on the element name. So these are the three selectors. So after complete this introduction part, so we can move to the CSS properties. So first property is text align property. Text align property. So this is the property in CSS used to set the horizontal alignment of a text. This property is used to set the horizontal alignment of a text, element of a text. Syntax, so we can use element selector, use text align, text align property. So text align property can accept the values, align property can accept the values like left or right or center or justify. Okay, any one of these four you can use, either left or right or center or justify. Okay, you can use only one value, so like this, right. So if you define this text and right, the text in the paragraph will be displayed in right align, okay, right side of the screen. So for example, okay, so in this example one paragraph is there. Okay, this paragraph is by default displaying in left align. Okay, okay, you can use text align and right. So refresh this example, you can see the paragraph text align to the right. So you can use these properties here or here. Okay, same styles, same properties is applied to the paragraph. So like this we can apply left, right and justify. So left is default, no need to define like this, left. And center, if you want to display the text in center align, use this text align center. Okay, text align to the center. Next, justify. So the justify is a block of text that aligns on the right, left and right sides, adjusting the word and letter spaces in each line of text to make each line the same length. Okay, each line of the text to make each line the same length. So that is the justify task. So this is the text align property. Next property is text transform property. Okay, text transform property. The property is used to specify uppercase and lowercase letters in a text. Used to specify uppercase and lowercase letters in a text. Okay, syntax. Text transform. You can use uppercase or lowercase and one more value is there, that is capitalize. Okay, capitalize. So these are the three values: uppercase, lowercase, and capitalize you can use. So uppercase is converted to the lowercase into the uppercase characters. Lowercase converted the uppercase characters to the lowercase, and capitalize means each and every word first letter capital letter. Okay, capitalize converted each and every word first letter caps. Okay, here you can see these four words. Okay, this is used to specify. Okay, T small, I small, U small, T small, and S small. So capitalize convert these words first letter to the capital letter. So this is the paragraph. Okay, sample paragraph. You can use text transform property here. Uppercase. Okay, so total paragraph is in small letters. Okay, small letters, lowercase letters. So if you run this example, total paragraph content is converted into capital letters. If the paragraph content is in capital letters, okay, total paragraph is in capital letters, so you can use lowercase. So it is converted capital letters to small letters. Okay, so and next one, capitalize. Capitalize is converted, so copy this. So this capitalize convert first letter to caps letter, each and every word. Okay, S caps, P caps here. So here S small, P small, but here displaying S caps, P caps. So capitalize convert the each and every word first letter into capital letter.